Hiya! Today I will share with you how I became a house sitter in under a week with barely any experience. You think you can't do it? Yes, you can! Okay, let's begin. Let's begin in the beginning. Ha ha ha. Okay, first of all, what's important? I'm gonna put somewhere here on the screen all the timestamps so you can pick what you want to see. And I am going to tell you how I first started out. So when I first wanted to house sit, I wanted to take a break from my job at the time, and I wanted to write. I wanted to write my first book. I now have two published books, which you can find in the info box if you're interested. And I needed a place to stay, but I didn't want to use all my savings to cover that period of time. So I found out about house sitting and that I could look after somebody's pet and stay at their place for free, not pay rent, and in that regard it would be a win-win for me and the house owner because they didn't have to pay for a house sitter. I first signed up with a website called Housesitters UK, and then after a bit I signed up for a website called TrustedHousesitters. Now there are websites where you can get paid for house sitting, but I've made a video on the pros and cons, so check out my other videos and have a look for that one. Also, depending on where you want to go, there will probably be house sitting websites in your country that are only based in your country, and then there are websites like Trusted Housesitters, which is a really big platform which is international and you can go to a lot of countries around the world. However, what you also must know is that some countries will have more opportunities for house sitting than others. For example, the UK has a wide range of opportunities. It's a country with a lot of people have pets in the UK, and a lot of people are aware of pet sitting platforms, and that makes it a country with a lot of opportunities for house sitting. So depending on what country you want to go in, you might want to do some research how much house sitting is available. So let's begin. First of all, what you need to do is, if you don't have experience, you need experience. But even if you have experience, but you don't have experience on the platform, then you need experience on the platform. What do I mean? So if you get on the platform, you have some experience, you can get external reviews, but in my opinion, they are not as highly rated and they're not as shown as obviously as the ones that you get through the actual platform. So it's really important to get reviews on the platform that you're on, whether it's Trusted House Sitters or another platform. The way you can get house sits and hence reviews very quickly and build up your profile is by accepting last minute house sits where you are. Now, you might think, but why would I do a house sit where I am? Well, it'll open more opportunities. And since you probably don't want to be doing a really long house sit where you are, what I did is I accepted last minute weekend house sits, and that way I was able to do a short house sit but get a review. And that's how I quickly built my profile for house sits that I actually wanted to do. Another advantage you have in your area is that you can go and introduce yourself in person. Now, I speak about this in another video about how to pick your house sit. This is something I would not always recommend doing. However, this is a different situation because you're brand new and you don't have any reviews, so you kind of need to go out of your way a little bit. If nobody picks you without introducing yourself, I would definitely recommend offering to introduce yourself. However, what I must say is that this was more a thing before COVID. So now, since COVID, people don't expect you to come in person as much as before. Like, most people are okay with a video call. But it is an advantage if you are in the area that you can say, hey, I am able to introduce myself in person, or maybe you're lucky and you can score a short house sit somewhere very close where you live and you can just take the bus or walk over there and introduce yourself. The other way of getting reviews quickly, I didn't do this one, but I'm pretty sure this is doable, is to apply for house sits that are not as popular. So generally speaking, house sits in cities are more popular than house sits in the country. And when I say country, places that are just not as known or that are more rural, that, like, for example, places by the beach are very popular. But a small town somewhere in country is not going to be as popular and won't have as much applicants. So if sit doesn't have many applicants, obviously you have a higher chance getting this sit and getting reviews. Once you have your first 3 reviews, I mean, obviously it's always better to have more, but 3 reviews upwards really get you started, and you can start to apply for sits that you really want to do. Now I want to talk a little bit more about the process. So first you decide what platform you want to use, and you can obviously use more than one, and sign up for those. Most platforms require a fee, but the difference in price can be quite high. For example, Housesitters UK has a much lower fee than Trusted Housesitters, but then again, Trusted Housesitters has more features on their website. They have 3 different subscriptions to choose from. They're international, they have a lot more options. So yeah, but you decide what will work for you, and once you've decided, you sign up. Your pictures are very important, so ideally you upload some pictures with pets, but in the beginning I didn't have pictures with pets, so uploading some quality pictures of yourself will do in the beginning until you have pictures with pets. Or if you have friends who have pets, you can come over, well, ask them first and maybe take some pictures with their pet. It's important that you fill in the description of yourself very well and why you want to do house sitting. This will save you time in the long run, because if you write well enough about yourself so somebody can understand what kind of person you are, they will also understand whether you are a good fit for them, their house, their pet. You won't go into so many conversations with homeowners later finding out that it's not a good match. If you and the homeowner already have a good idea of who you are through the profile, then this is very valuable. Also, you might think that you don't have any pet experience. However, think very long and hard whether you do or you do not, because maybe you did at some point walk the dog of your grandma or your friend. You may not have done it as extensively as you think you should have, but whatever there is in your past related to pets, at the very beginning, put all of that on your profile. The process of being selected as a house sitter. Step 1, you apply. You write a little text about why you want to be somebody's house sitter, why this sit is for you, why it would be a good match. It doesn't necessarily have to be extremely long. I actually don't know how other sitters do it. My applications are usually, I would call it medium size. Like, it's not very little, it's not a huge amount. It gives the house owner enough information to get curious, but it also doesn't overwhelm them. And then also, obviously, after reading my message, they can go on my profile, and if I filled in my profile properly, then they have things to go off of. And if you have reviews, then also they can read your reviews, which I think a lot of people do. Also, on the Trusted Housesitters website, you can see what ads are new and how many people have already replied to one ad. This is a really good indication of whether you should apply or not. I mean, obviously, you can always give it a shot. However, me personally, after a few people have already applied, I usually don't apply anymore, because people tend to pick first few people that have applied for whatever reason. On Housesitters UK, you cannot see how many people have applied, and I get the feeling that there isn't as much traction on that website compared to the Trusted Housesitters website. So when I see an ad that really interests me and it's still up and they're still looking, and also I don't know how many people have already applied, I will probably apply. And step 2, the homeowner will message you if they're interested. Well, sometimes they also message you if you're not interested, and then you know. But generally speaking, if you don't get a reply, you're probably not selected, and then eventually on Trusted House Sitters you get a notification if they pick somebody else. I think on Houses UK you don't, but this happens usually quite quickly. If somebody is really interested in you, they usually reply to you quite quickly and will ask for a meetup or a telephone call. These days, most of the time, they will ask for a video call, and then you set up a video call and get to know each other. At the end of the call, the homeowner will usually either say, I would like to pick you for the sit, or they will say, I'm still interviewing other people, but I'll get back to you in the next few days. This is usually what happens. If it doesn't happen, then I'm usually asking, when will I hear back? Or if I have like a really good feeling, I will say, all of this sounds really positive to me, and I feel that I'd be happy to go ahead, and then they can think about it. Or sometimes, if I don't want to make that decision on a call, not necessarily because I don't like the sit or anything, but sometimes it's just good to get off the call and let things sit for a little bit and think about it for 24 hours, and then let the homeowner know what you want to do. So sometimes I just say, I will let you know tomorrow whether I want to go forward or not. This is the other thing. If you're not sure, don't be pressured to say yes on the call. Just because you applied, until you confirm, you can always say no. If you don't have a good feeling about these people, if they say something on the phone that you feel is not really vibing with you, or your gut feeling tells you that this house sit isn't for you, you can always say no, and that's fine. And I would recommend you go with what feels right for you. But then step 3, if you're both happy, you will match, and you can match on the website, and then you're confirmed on the website. On Trusted House Sitters, they can send you a welcome guide with lots of information. Some people do that, some people don't. On Trusted House Sitters, sometimes people just write up a summary of what you need to know. It varies a lot on what people want to do. If they don't do that, then I just ask some extra questions, or I ask them to leave me important phone numbers that I might need during my stay, like for the vet, neighbors, etc. What a lot of people do, not everyone, but I personally really like when people say, hey, why don't you come the night before? We have dinner together, we show you the house, you meet the pet, you can ask all questions. Because when you're there, I don't know about you, maybe I'm just a very visual person, but I find it easier to remember everything when they actually show me in person. And that can be really helpful. Other people might just do that 2 hours or an hour before they leave. It also depends on what is their situation. Like, do they have a guest room? Do they have lots of space, or do they not? Because sometimes people, for example, in central London, they have a flat. They don't have the space to invite you the night before. But if people do, I think it's really nice. How I pick house sits. Also, I would definitely recommend you watch the video where I talk about who I don't house sit for. That's up on my channel. But how I pick house sits is, people tend to not put up house sits hugely long in advance, which sometimes annoys me because I'm a planner. And some people do, but generally speaking, most people put up their ad 2 or 3 months, or even less than that. A lot of people do it just a few weeks. Some people just do it like very last minute. But yeah, I would recommend, if you are a planner and you know when you want to do your house sit, start looking 2 or 3 months in advance. More time in advance is usually not working out. Then you can have preferences, whether you want to look after cats or dogs or everything. Like, you can just see what suits you. And then it's really, really important, we talked about it a little bit, to read the homeowner's description very well to get a feeling on whether it's a good match for you or not. And I would definitely encourage you only to do houses for people you have a good feeling for, because I mean, you're not paid for this, and I just think it's important that everyone has a good experience. And if you have a bad gut feeling, then just don't go forward with it. As a summary, I have done house sitting for various years now, and I wouldn't have done it this long, or I wouldn't continue to do it if I didn't love it. I really love meeting pets, homeowners, see how people live, and I feel that it is a way of having either a holiday or a way away from your home. And I personally mostly can really feel at home in someone else's home, and I just imagine what they feel like in their own home. I just look through their lens and make myself at home in their home, and I feel like it gives you an opportunity to live like a local in a new place. This is also a great opportunity for people who work from home. If you work from home, obviously you have to make sure, and you have to ask the homeowner how fast their internet is, depending on what you need. But it's a great opportunity to go to different places and to experience these new places in the country you live, or abroad. Overall, I've enjoyed it a lot, and I hope that this video will help you to enjoy it as well. That's for today. That was today's video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and check out my other house sitting videos and subscribe to my channels for more. Okay, bye bye.